All right, so get this. Game Freak, they're the ones behind Pokemon, right?
Yeah.
They just got hit with this data leak, and it is massive. I mean, we are talking a terabyte of data here.
Yeah.
Employee messages, early designs, even lines of code.
Oh, wow.
It's like, if you're a Pokemon fan, it's kind of like a dream come true.
Yeah.
Or I guess, depending on how you see it, maybe a nightmare.
Yeah, I mean, this isn't just like a few leaked images here and there. This is like a full-on look behind the scenes at how Game Freak does what they do.
Exactly. And that's what we're doing here for you. We're going to cut through all the noise and get to the good stuff, the big reveals, what they mean, the stuff you actually care about.
Yeah, no jargon overload in this deep dive.
Definitely not.
Yeah.
We're all about that good info.
And it's important to keep in mind that making games, it's a process, right? Things change.
Oh, yeah.
So what we see in this leak is just like a snapshot,
True. But what a snapshot, right? Okay, so let's jump right into the biggest news here. Pokémon Legends ZA. I mean, this is the sequel everyone's been waiting for, and if this leak is right, it was supposed to come out next year, but got pushed back.
Yeah, and that's the weird part. Because the leak, it kind of seems like it's pretty far along. We're talking like almost finished story, English translation, even a bunch of the side quests are polished.
So what's the deal with the delay then? Any ideas?
Well, there's this one juicy little detail in the leak. It hints at Mega Evolutions making a comeback, specifically for Zygarde and Zeraora.
Mega Evolutions, get out of here.
Yeah, and it seems like, and this is wild, the leak is from messages between Game Freak and the people who make the anime, so it sounds like they want to reveal Mega Zygarde in the game and the show at the same time.
Oh man, that would be insane. Can you imagine the hype?
Right.
Although if they do Mega Zygarde, doesn't Zygarde already have its complete form? How would they even make that work?
That's the million-dollar question, right? Like, would it be even stronger than complete form?
And what about Zeraora? Has it ever even had a Mega?
Yeah.
I don't think so. This could totally shake up the competitive scene, change the whole battling meta.
Absolutely.
This is what's so crazy about leaks like this. It's not just about what's definitely happening, but all the possibilities,
Yeah, the what ifs.
Speaking of what ifs, let's talk Gen 10. All we have is a code name right now, Gaia.
Gaia, huh? Sounds kind of big, doesn't it? Like really expansive.
Yeah, and there are these early details about it being an island-hopping adventure. But way bigger than Alola, apparently.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, like imagine a huge chain of islands, each one with new Pokemon, different environments. It'd be like the ultimate Pokemon vacation.
Minus the sunburn, hopefully.
Uh-huh, yeah, hopefully. But here's where it gets really interesting, right? There's mention of it being developed for both the current Switch and that rumored Switch 2, the one?
Hold on, really?
Yeah. So could they actually release Gen 10 on both consoles at the same time? I mean, it'd be huge, right? Everyone could play it right away.
Yeah. Although I can see people with the old Switch feeling a little, jealous of the graphics on the new one.
Oh, for sure. But it would be a smart move by Nintendo, you gotta admit. Get everyone on board with Gen 10 right out the gate. But, okay, get this. There's also this code name in the leak for a completely new game. Codename, Synapse.
Synapse, huh? Now that's interesting.
Right. Synapse is described as, get this, a multiplayer Pokemon game, but with a Splatoon-like vibe.
Wait, hold on. Splatoon, like the ink battles and stuff?
Yeah. Think team battles, objectives, maybe even some, splatting action. But with Pokemon. How cool is that?
That's crazy. Do we know who's even making it?
Okay, so get this. It's being co-developed with ILCA.
ILCA, the ones who did Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl?
The one and only.
Huh. Interesting. I mean, those remakes were pretty faithful to the originals, not too out there.
Yeah, but think about it, right? A whole new multiplayer game. That gives them a chance to get really creative, you know? They could come up with something totally new and amazing.
You're right. This could be their chance to really show what they can do. And you know what's really cool about this leak? It's not just about the new games, but it's like we get to peek into these other ideas, Designs for Pokemon that never were, stuff like that.
Oh, absolutely. It's like they just dumped a whole bunch of scrap designs and concepts. We're talking different takes on Pokemon we know, ideas that didn't even make it past like the drawing board stage, even entire evolution lines that got cut.
Right.
It's wild.
It's like a treasure trove of what if Pokemon. And honestly, some of these are so cool, it's kind of shame they never went anywhere.
I know, right?
Like, take Shaymin, for instance.
Okay.
Their early designs, they're even spikier than the landform we have now, almost mean-looking.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and then there's that early Lick-a-Lick-y concept, creepy. It's like something straight out of, I don't know, a Pokemon horror movie or something.
Oh, I gotta see this. That's amazing. Though, can you imagine, like, that creepy Lick-a-Lick-y in the anime? Kids would be terrified. Okay, what else?
Well, there's this one Honchkrow design where it's like super menacing, like some kind of mob boss, really leans into that whole dark type vibe.
Okay, that's awesome. I love it when they go all in on a Pokemon's theme,
Right. It's like you can tell they're experimenting with different vibes, different aesthetics. Even if a design is cool, it might not, fit the direction they're going for.
Totally, totally. Speaking of directions, how about those beta designs for some of the legendaries like Zekrom and Reshiram?
Oh, yeah.
The ones in the league, they have this way more obvious yin-yang thing going on.
No way.
Yeah, with like contrasting dots and everything.
Wow. So like even more direct than what they ended up with.
Way more direct. It's kind of cool seeing those early ideas, even if the final designs are iconic,
Absolutely. It's like seeing the evolution of an idea.
Exactly. And speaking of evolution, there was this early concept for Landorus, right? But instead of that whole genie in the bottle thing, it was this like majestic, almost godlike figure.
Whoa, seriously.
It was intense. It really sold that whole like raw power of nature thing that Landorus has.
Man, imagine having to battle that Landorus. Talk about an epic fight.
Right. And this is just the tip of the iceberg. There's also, get this, a 4-stage Dynamo evolution.
What? No way!
Yeah, can you believe it?
Game Freak holding out on us with these evolutions.
Right. Maybe they're saving some of this stuff for like future generations or something.
I mean, a trainer can dream, right? But, while these designs are super cool to think about, the leak also had some stuff that's gotten people talking, in a different way.
You're talking about those like disturbing discoveries, the darker, kind of more mature themes and stories that were in the leaked lore.
Yeah, exactly. Like this stuff doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be in the games,
Right.
But it's interesting because it shows this side of the Pokemon world that maybe people haven't really thought about before.
Yeah. And, it's our job to talk about all of it, even the stuff that makes people uncomfortable. So, we got to acknowledge that these darker elements are in the leak and that fans are discussing them.
Exactly. It's a conversation starter for sure.
For sure.
Like, there's this one story about a woman and a group of Vigoroth.
Oh, yeah, I read that one. It's intense.
Yeah, it's about how people can be cruel, even to Pokemon.
It's definitely a far cry from, like, Ash and Pikachu,
Yeah.
The classic trainer-Pokemon friendship.
Right. And it kind of makes you wonder, like, could the Pokemon games actually handle more serious stories, more mature themes?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, I think some people might be like, no way Pokemon is for kids. But the thing is, the world of Pokemon, it's always been more complex than people give it credit for, don't you think?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, look at some of the Pokedex entries, right? They can get kind of dark.
Exactly. So it's not like it's completely out of left field to have these darker stories,
Yeah. Yeah. And who knows, maybe by exploring these more, real aspects of that world, the games could actually become even better, more engaging, more thought-provoking.
Like, totally. I think it's all about how they handle it, right?
Yeah,
It's got to be done in a way that's thoughtful and makes sense for the Pokemon world.
definitely. But hey, a little complexity never hurt anyone, right?
Exactly. It's what keeps things interesting. So we're back. And this Pokemon League, it just keeps going.
It's amazing, right? We've uncovered huge reveals, looked at those scrap projects, even explored the darker side of the Pokemon world.
And we're not even done yet. There's still so much to talk about, like all the little details that give us a peek into how Game Freak does its thing.
Oh, absolutely. Like, remember those beta designs for the Swords of Justice, Cobalion, Terrakion, Verizion?
Oh, yeah.
Their early looks were way simpler, almost like the legendary beasts from Johto.
It's like they were trying out different styles before settling on that, like, powerful but elegant look they have now, For sure. For sure. This whole leak really shows how much work goes into every little thing, even the designs people might not think twice about.
Totally. It's the little details, right? Speaking of details, how about those early Zekrom and Reshiram designs with the super obvious yin-yang dots?
Oh, man, those were intense. Talk about making a statement, right?
Yeah, it's like a much more literal take on them being opposites. I mean, the final designs, those are classic. But those early versions, they really hammer home that whole duality thing.
No doubt. And that's scrapped Landorus. I'm telling you, we could have had a full-on deity command, like storms and earthquakes. Forget the genie. This thing was epic.
Imagine battling that Landorus. You'd be shaking in your boots.
No kidding. It's too bad some of these amazing designs never made it,
Yeah.
Like that Torchic with wings, the Trico that looked like Kermit the Frog, and don't forget the bunny with the little floaty. They would have been the coolest starter trio.
So cute. But you know, it's cool that Game Freak is willing to try these crazy ideas, even if they don't all work out, you know?
Totally. It shows they're always trying to push things forward, trying new stuff.
Exactly. And it makes you wonder, like, what other crazy ideas are hidden away in their, like, vault of Pokemon secrets?
Right. Speaking of hidden gems, did you see those early versions of the black and white intro?
With, like, the younger Getsies, the one that looked way more, like, sinister?
Yeah. It's crazy to see how they changed it. Don't get me wrong, the final version is amazing. The storytelling, the animation, it's all top-notch.
Oh yeah, totally agree. But those early versions, it's like taking a peek into their process,
Yeah.
you know, seeing how they got to that final product.
Absolutely. It's like watching a director's cut or something.
And that's what I love about leaks like this. It reminds us that these games we love, they don't just magically appear, you know?
Yeah.
There's a ton of work, passion, and creativity that goes into them.
Couldn't have said it better myself. So we've covered a ton of ground here, gone through a lot of these leaks.
A lot of leaks.
What are, like, the big takeaways here for our listeners?
Well, first off, it's clear, Game Freak. They're not afraid to innovate. They're always pushing the boundaries of what Pokemon can be.
Absolutely. And I think another big one, the Pokemon world, it's got layers, you know? It's not all sunshine and rainbows. There's room for some more complex, even darker themes, if they do it right.
Definitely. And finally, this leak, it just shows the power of imagination. All these what-if Pokemon, these scrapped ideas, they get us thinking, get us excited for what could be.
So true. And
Well-
isn't that what Pokemon is all about? The excitement, the adventure, the never-ending journey of discovering new Pokemon and new possibilities, you know?
So it isn't just a game, it's an experience.
That's it. So keep exploring, keep asking questions, and most importantly, keep catching them all.